Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Schneider. Welcome to the Song Club.
I knew it was a bad idea to meet you here, my dear.
All right, here we are, and I'm wearing these Prince glasses. If you're watching this on YouTube, which, unless you're a NASCAR driver and your life depends on your paying attention to the road, why are you not watching this on YouTube? Because this. Anyways, welcome everyone to Song Club : Bob Schneider's Song Club. That's me, Bob Schneider, your host and fellow songwriter, if you are a songwriter, and songwriter if you are not a songwriter. I have a feeling the songwriter to non-songwriter ratio on this podcast is probably 100% non-songwriter to 0% songwriter. But who knows, maybe I'm sure there's some amateur songwriters who listen to this because why not? But yeah, actual songwriters would be like haters. I only know this because I am one. And the same, songwriter, 100%, hater, 69%-ish. I mean, I got some love for like Paul Simon. But even Paul Simon, I'm going to find some difficult things about him. Because what am I going to like? I got to find something about myself that's better than Paul Simon. Now, I can't write Bridge Over Troubled Waters, but I can be taller. I can have meatier, manlier legs than Paul Simon. I mean, I haven't seen his legs recently because he doesn't do a lot of stuff where he shows his legs. I mean, I think the last time I actually saw Paul Simon's legs was when he was doing something in the 80s. So I know what his 80s legs look like. I don't know what his 2022 legs look like, but I'm imagining that they're not meatier than those 86 legs. I'm imagining they've aged a few years. I don't know if you've ever taken a piece of string cheese and left it out on the counter for 40 years. But when you go back to take a bite out of said cheese, son, it's going to be less meaty and more reedy. Here's what I'm saying when I say a sentence like that. EMINEM, don't ask me to rap battle because, son, you will lose because my mind works real fast. I'm like a race car traveling at 422 miles an hour, which means don't put a turn up ahead. Any turns and my mind will go crashing into the wall and I'll lose the wheel. And that'll be it. So anyways, I hope you guys had a good month. I bust these babies out once a month. And this is the one for March 2022. Things are looking good. Things are good. I'm excited about the year. South by Southwest is coming up. Is that even a thing? I don't know. We didn't have it last year. Of course. We didn't have it the year before. So this is the first one, but I don't know if they're actually even having anything going on. I know that I'm playing something for South by, but I'm not actually part of the conference. All right, let's just get into it. This is the Song Club. All of the songs that you're going to hear on today's podcast are part of my Patreon Song Club. And you can get all these songs. You can get 8 songs a month if you subscribe to Patreon, patreon.com/Bob Schneider. You'll get these songs, and then there's extras depending on what level you want to subscribe in. And then also I do a live stream every Tuesday, which is fun. It's a lot of fun. If you were there last night, you had a good time, as we normally do. So anyways, I'm really pretty happy with these songs this month. I had a lot of anxiety. Probably the most anxiety I've had as an adult this last month. And I was really putting myself through the ringer. I've always been a worrier, a bit of a worrier, as the English would say. Oh, he's a bit of a worrier. Oh yeah, Bob Schneider, he's a bit of a worrier. Here's the thing: for a while, I couldn't do an Australian accent, like for years, for most of my adult life, and then in my late 30s, where I'm at now. And when I say late 30s, I mean there's snow. The snow's melting on the mountain. At some point, I developed what most people call a 100% authentic Australian accent. Aye, that's right. You can say that my Australian accent is so solid that were I to travel to down under, people would be like, oh, he's one of us, mate. But it's gotten so good that when I try to do an English accent now, I always slip into the Australian accent groove that I've created in my mind. So, anyways, just, little bits and pieces of information about what's going on in my brain. By the way, if my brain was a bed and breakfast, you would not want to stay there. Because you'd be like, hey, I'm trying to get some sleep. Hey, I'm trying to read a book. Hey, I'm trying to just do anything except listen to your incessant rattling and ravings. Got a little piece of... My hair is looking really good, but I've got a little... There. I had to take care of it. Then I've got this thing here, too. Let me get... There we go. I've got to fix... Even though you're listening to this on the podcast, I'm looking at myself on YouTube, and I like what I see, but there was a little thing happening. But now we're all 100%. All right, well, let's get into it. This first song that I'm going to play you guys is a song called The Monster with 1,000 Fingers. Let's just listen to it, and then I'll make some comments in a minute about it. All right, here we go. The Monster with 1,000 Fingers. Oh, man. Already I'm liking this a lot.
Shoot yourself up in the trees, looking down on you and me. Float up like a feather so light, and cover hard in a blanket of white. All the noise in the forest just out of sight. Somewhere in the middle of the night, where the mystery and the magic lingers, in the cave of the monster. wish I knew where the wishing well was, so I could wish a well just because. There's a rustle in the forest just out of sight, somewhere in the middle of the night, where the mystery and the magic lingers, in the cave of the monster with 1,000 fingers.
Yeah, the cave of the monster with 1,000 fingers. Yeah, I think, I think what that song's about is it's basically all this anxiety that I've been experiencing, and I don't know what the monster with 1,000 fingers is, but it's something that I want to avoid. And maybe if I actually went into the cave and checked it out, maybe I wouldn't be so scared. Let's check in with my eyes here. Oh, I like what I see. I'm gonna put the glasses back on. And man, I could listen to that song all day long. I'm not always crazy about everything I write. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I am a big fan of my songwriting, but every once in a while I'll write something that I'm really happy with. I like the way that sounds. I like the recording of it. The song itself it's good. It's solid. I feel like you can always tell how good a song is. If I could sit down and play it on an acoustic guitar, just sing the song and play it on an acoustic guitar, and then it still works, then that's a good song. Sometimes you get a song, but it's recorded really well, or it's sung really well or something, or, there's a really nice guitar part that has a great little guitar hook in it. It's got a really kind of a nice feel. So that all makes it sound better than maybe the song actually is. But it's fun to listen to, for sure. And I played it with the band, and it sounded pretty good with the band. So that's always another good sign. But anyways, I'm probably my own worst critic. I say that, and then trust me when I say this, that there's people out there in the world who'll be like, oh no, I would be a much worse critic for you, Mr. Schneider. Because haters. And I know it. I know what that is. Because also me am haters. So, there you have it. The monster with 1,000 fingers. Yeah, and the other thing I was going to say is because I've had all this anxiety and all this worry, that's not a bad thing when it comes to songwriting. When you're in a place where you're really scared and concerned about things, sometimes you need songwriting to kind of save you in a weird way. Or maybe the world's so worrisome or whatever that you want to just completely get inside something like songwriting. And so in those instances you really sink your mind and your all your efforts into what you're doing. And I think I've done that this month with some of these songs. I've tried to use them to kind of save me from this fear. And also, by the way, let me say this. I know because some of you guys are worry-warts just like me, and you're like, oh, I hope Bobby's okay. I'm actually fine now. I've kind of come through the other side. So I'm feeling good. Could have been the weather. The weather's been really cold here and gray and rainy. And now it's nice, and the sun's out, and it's a beautiful time of the year. So your boy's doing real good over here now. I've passed through the storm, as they say. But the good news is I feel like I got some good songs out of it. So, because when things are rocky, when you're on shaky ground, I feel like that's the best time. That's when I've always come up with the best songs, the best writing. When everything's like okay, when I feel like I'm going to get through the day no problem, that's not necessarily the best time to write. I still write, and I still write okay songs. And just because things are not going well doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to write a great song either. Because there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's a very mysterious process, this writing songs. But it's what I do, and it's what I'm really good at. And it's better than most, which is nice. And I say that in all humility. All right, let's listen to another one. This one's called Sleep at Night. This is probably the most current sounding song that I've written in a while. I feel like this is me trying to sound like a cross between Post Malone and Justin Bieber, but also with the perspective of somebody in their late 30s. And when I say late 30s, I mean the giant has grandchildren. Okay, here we go. Let's crank this.
Yeah.
Oh shit, is that Drake up in this? Is that Drake?
Do me a favor, pass the saber. I like that new stuff. Until the lawyer call, work on this bootstrap. I got this bad itch. I can't stop dreaming about the way you make my heart twitch. Frankenstein came in from the cold for a while. You ain't a monster. Baby, you're a friend of mine. Let me pour you some coffee. Tell me the news how she's gonna make me lose my mind for a while because sometimes this world just gets on your mind and won't leave you to sleep at night. She's all I want on my mind. It gets so busy sometimes. It doesn't matter. It's just a one-way ride. It's like that movie I can't refuse though, 'cause she's so serious, like Ted Caruso. Known her from the way back in the beginning, when everything was alright and we was winning. The way the world rolled, it's fiery red, not like a coffin, more like a front bed. Breaking my manners, I should just said what I saw. The high five now inside of 6ix9ine, bro. See, sometimes this world just gets on your mind and won't leave you to sleep at night. She's all I want on my mind. It gets so busy sometimes. It doesn't matter. It's just a one-way ride.
Yeah, I usually don't play that much of songs, but man, once again, I could listen to that song all day and feel pretty good about listening to it. I have to say, again, couple good ones this month, which doesn't happen all the time, but feels good when it does. Anyways, that's called Sleep at Night, and again, having trouble sleeping, having trouble staying asleep, having trouble just getting through the night. That's what I've been dealing with this last month, but again, I feel like I'm on the other side of it, which is nice. I will say this about anxiety. Again, it's something I feel like I had in my 20s. I quit drinking when I was 29. I had a lot of anxiety as a teenager and all through my 20s. And alcohol was a really great way to get rid of the anxiety. Unfortunately, once I started drinking, I just didn't want to stop. And so it would cause more problems. And then those problems or sticky situations that I would get myself into would cause more anxiety. And so I would drink to alleviate the anxiety. And it just kind of got worse and worse all through my 20s. And so I'm glad that's behind me. And I will say that once I got sober, a lot of that anxiety left me. And it's only come back in these last 2 years. I experienced a lot of it during the first part of the pandemic in 2020. But then I figured out some stuff to do, like I would walk every day and I would pray every day, which I wasn't doing a lot of. And which I found a lot of solace in and a lot of comfort in just those two things. I would do these short meditations for like 10 minutes every morning, which I found very helpful. And so that's what I've been doing. And again, that worked for a while, and then this last month, it all came back in a big rush. And but like I said, it came and it went, and the good thing about experiencing things like this and not using drugs or alcohol to get away from it is you have the experience and understanding of realizing, oh, just because I'm feeling this doesn't mean it's going to last forever, because I had this before and I got through it, and I got through it fine. And every time you do that, you can get through it fine, better, I think. Even though it feels like, it feels like, well, that'll never, this feeling, this anxiety, this bad feeling is going to be here forever, but it'll pass if I can just hold out for a little longer. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do as many push-ups as I can until it hurts. And then when you do that, you're like, oh, that anxiety's not so bad because my arms hurt real bad because I just did all these push-ups. Oh, damn. Did I just slip into some Bill Clinton? I just did all these push-ups. All you got to do, Bill Clinton, is just get real relaxed. Honey, you look like you're as fine as a supper at Denny's. Girl, you're as fine as the Shoney's buffet. Girl, you're as good looking as a damn piece of pita bread with some tzatziki sauce on it. Is it tzatziki? I can't even remember. I'm Bill Clinton. I was president of the United States. I just breezed through everything. My name's Bill Clinton. How you doing? Welcome to Bob Schneider's Song Club. This is my favorite song club. I'm Bill Clinton and I endorse Bob Schneider's Song Club. It's so good. I like the way he writes. He writes great songs. All right, so let's check out another new song. This one's called Promises, Promises. And again, we'll listen together, and then when we're done listening, we'll check out the old, see if there's anything to talk about. Here we go. Promises, Promises. Oh, your boy's on the bass on this one. Doing that bass drum start.
Promise me you'll run away if a bad guy tries to make you say something you know it's not true. That's something that bad guys will do. Promise me you won't get hurt. You'll always look before you flirt or fly away into the blue. That's something that you sometimes do. Promise me you'll always be around. Promise me you'll never let me down. Promise me you'll always be alright. Promise me, promise me, promise me tonight. Promise me that you won't go and join the circus. So I know it sounds fun to spin around from pole to pole and town to town. But sometimes when you're way up high, mistakes can happen. Then where would I be without you here alone? I don't think I could make it on my own. Promise me you'll always be
clouds on high.
Oh yeah, "Promises, Promises" is the name of that song, and I think writing that song had a lot to do with watching the entire season of Love Is Blind season 2. If you're unfamiliar with this show, it's a show where people, men and women, date each other, but they do it in these pods where they can't see each other. They just can talk to each other. And the premise is to go to the next stage of the show, you have to fall in love with somebody, and then they propose to you. They give you a marriage proposal, and you say yes, having never seen the person before. And then once you say yes, you've got a month between that time and your wedding. And during that month, you meet the person, so you actually see them, which is a wonderful part of the show because people are never what you think they look like. I'm sure if you've ever talked to somebody on the phone and then you get a mental picture of who they are and then you meet them in person and you're like, oh shit, you don't look anything like that person. So there's that, which is interesting. And then they live together, and then that becomes more real. And then they're at the altar, and then they either say I do or they don't. And I will say this about the show, probably because of the way they edit it. There's always a surprise or two where you're like, well, that person's definitely going to say yes, and they say no at the altar, and the parents are there, and anyways, it's a great show, and I'm sure that's where that Promises, Promises song came into being because, again, my life's pretty much the same thing. I hang out with my family, I play shows, and then I watch a lot of TV and experience a lot of things through watching other people live their lives. Because maybe I don't live that crazy of a life, which is the way I want it to be. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like I want to do stuff, but I can't because I'm a prisoner of Azkaban. It's because I like staying at home. It's nice. I don't have people bothering me. So I love my life. Now, my wife likes to travel. She likes to do things. And she's always like, let's go here, let's go there. And I'm like, okay, but I don't want to. I just want to stay right here where I know where everything is. But do I? No, because I don't. If I lived alone, I'd know where everything is. But because I don't live alone, people are always moving shit. I'm like, why? Why can't the scissors just be in the same place every time? How nice would it be if the scissors were in the same place every time? It'd be so nice. All right. Let's listen to another new one. I think this is the last of the new ones. Oh, I also should mention, last month was the first month, but this is the second month where all of the songs that are in the song club, we have karaoke versions of those songs. Now, the song club, these are all the demos of the songs. When I say it's the demo, it's the day that I wrote the song. And usually I kind of write a song in a day and record it. Whatever that recording was that day, those are the songs that you get here on the song club. But if I have a karaoke version of them, those are usually the album versions. If they made the album. If they didn't make an album, then it's the demo version, but without vocals. So you can sing along to it and have karaoke parties. And you can sing Justin Bieber songs, and then in between you can sing Bob Schneider songs. And that sounds like a good karaoke party to me. And maybe to you too. So yeah. Now, I don't think that's for everybody. I think you have to be maybe at a higher level, pledge level, to get these karaoke songs. So but I don't know either. I'm not sure about that because there's somebody else that handles all that stuff. But they're there. At some pledge level, you can get all these instrumental versions so you can sing along to them either alone if you're friendless or if you have a friend or two, you can do it with your friends. All right, here's a new one. Again, it's called I Had to Laugh. Let's check it out. I had to laugh, y'all. That's right. I had to laugh. Well, there's that song. That's interesting. I like how that, to me, that sounds like I don't know, like a song from an old song from a long time ago. A long time ago, we had a song from a long time ago. And it was called whatever that song was called, the long time ago song. This is me actually trying to do stuff on the computer to make the computer work better, and then also have words come out of my mouth, but not really paying attention to them. It's kind of like the way I parent, where my daughter or son will be saying something, and they'll be like, blah, 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 and I'm like, yeah. Or I guess, or my wife, or anybody really. They'll just be talking, and they'll be like, okay. But really, I'm just thinking of something else. It's not because they're uninteresting or because they're not saying something interesting. It's because my mind is like a bird, and it will fly and flit and fly around looking for worms. Metaphorical worms. And so I don't know if you've ever tried to talk to a bird, but it's difficult to get them to just sit there and pay attention and not chirp and chip, and also fly around, flit and flow, looking for bedding for their nests or worms for their bellies. I'm just looking at my computer too, and it's just not working correctly. And I'm just like, why? What is going on? What is the deal with my computer? I ask myself, and the answer that comes to mind is that Apple is effing with me. But I don't know if that's true. I feel like that's just me making up something. So the rest of these songs are kind of older songs, not super old necessarily, but older than this month. And there's some of them I'm just shocked that I've never put out in the song club, because they're like literally some of my favorite. I say this every week, but there's some of my favorite tracks that I've recorded, including this next one. It's called Coming My Way. And it's kind of a dance EDM song that I recorded a few years ago, probably just before I started doing the podcast. Otherwise, it would have been out on the podcast now. This also could be a song that's come out on a previous podcast, but I didn't mark it as something that I've released. And if that's the case, my apologies. 1,000 apologies. But as far as I know, I have not put this out on the Song Club. And again, it's a banger. Like, you can put this song on at the club and watch people like literally take off their shoes and start running a marathon because they're like, oh, this song has got the heat and I need to run 26 miles barefoot through the streets of Winnipeg. All right, let's check it out. It's called Coming My Way. Yeah, right? Already you're like, I got to take my shoes off. Already you're like, why didn't I buy shoes that are Velcro? Because I don't want to have to undo this double time. Now, if that's not a club banger, then obviously I don't know what a club banger is. But that sounds like a club banger to me. Now, when's the last time I was at a club? You might ask. Hey, when's the last time Bobby was at the club? Well, I'll tell you, it was 19. Yep. It was a 19 number. So, I don't know what the clubs are like now. I've been watching Euphoria. And I'm like, I would feel like the Hunchback of Notre Dame if I went into one of those clubs or one of those parties where those young kids are. I'd be like, what am I doing here? Oh, there's a thing that somebody's calling me, and it is my wife, and she's calling me because I didn't put on the Don't Disturb on the thing while I was doing the podcast, and she doesn't know that I'm doing the podcast, and so she'll probably come in here and she'll be like, what are you doing? And I'll be like, I'm doing the podcast. And so I should probably send her a text telling her that I am doing the podcast. This is me trying to do two things at once. Sending her a text while I'm talking to you. And it kind of worked because I did it. Damn, I feel like the Flash being able to do that. Oh, this is cool. Now my computer's like, the stream's current bitrate is higher than recommended. But now it's going to say, no, it's not. It's lower. What in the GD is going on with my computer? I don't know. Anyways, that's coming my way. This next song is the original demo for the song Dirty Feeling, which was on King Kong. And again, I don't know why this wasn't released either. I really love this demo. This is one of my favorite songs that I've written. It's definitely in there in the top 10. It's got some really cool lyrics. In the first verse, it's got this thing where I'm talking about holding a small horse in my hand. And I don't know what that means. And I left it in there because it could mean a bunch of things. Could be like, maybe is that drug lingo? Am I talking about holding like a? Is that maybe drug lingo for like a heroin laced blunt? I don't know. Or it could be I'm holding like a miniature horse in my hand, or I'm holding a small horse, like maybe the reins of a small horse in my hand. Because we had some ponies. They weren't ponies, they were like miniature horses that our neighbors had here that you would see if you would look out the back window of my house. Every once in a while, you'd look out there and there'd be a magical miniature horse, like a Budweiser horse, but small, like the size of a really large dog. So anyways, I don't know what it means, but I like lyrics where I'm not sure what they mean, but they could mean something. And there's some really nice lines in this song. Let's listen to it. This is the original demo for Dirty Feeling.
As the words fell from your mouth, as trees burned behind your house, the cop showed up in blinding blue. They all swore their love to you. I guess a tiger had broken free on the anniversary of the crowning of the king. But you said it doesn't mean nothing. Holding a small horse in your hands while listening to your girlfriend's boyfriend's band. I got a dirty feeling come over me. I wanna ride that horse into your sea. Up your arms and down your back. Knock all the dishes off your rack. And throw your course right off its track. Turn on the lights so you can see this dirty feeling. It's come over me. Think you can come around.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool demo of that song. And there's also, you can see in the chorus, if you're familiar with that song, there's an extra line in both choruses. And I did what all the greats do, and they snipped out the fat. And I feel like the lines that I took out, the knock all your dishes off the rack, I took that line out, and it just made it a better song. And the difference between a great song and a song that's not that great is that it's those little things where you just get rid of this thing. And I feel like people like the Beatles were really good about not stopping until they really got rid of every single little thing that just wasn't quite working in their songs. And I don't always do that, but I always write more than I need. I'll always write, if I write 5 verses, I'll get rid of 2 of them. Or I'll take, 2 verses and combine them into one and just use the best lines. And I think you have to do that. I think people that There are people that just kind of use everything they write, and it's not a good idea because not everything you write's going to be good, and it's hard to maintain perspective when you're writing because it is like having children, and you're like, oh, look at my little baby, it's so beautiful, but it's not. It's not that beautiful. Uh, It's in fact it's a horrible, ghastly, gross-looking baby, but you can't tell because your mind says, "Oh, I made it, so it must be good." And then it's only later that once you've made some other things, then you can compare them. You know, that's why it's not a good idea to have a bunch of kids because if you do, if you just have one kid, you just love that kid with all your heart. But if you have like 5 kids, then there's 2 that you really love, and then 3 you're like, ugh, why couldn't these 3 kids be like these 2 kids that I really dig? I mean, you kind of love them genetically. You have to, maybe you're predisposed to, because there's again survival of the species or something that's innate programming. But you don't love them as much, and don't believe anybody that says they love all their children as much as they all love them equally, because it's not true. They don't. The more children you have, the more your love is spread thinner and thinner until finally you just stop loving everyone and everything, and you go crazy, and then you have to drink a lot. All right, so this next song is called Everybody's Doing It. This was on one of my records, Lovely Creatures or Perfect Day or one of those. And it's that last song, Dirty Feeling, that's very similar to the studio version in terms of like some of the melodies and the way it, but this song it's as different as can be. But I love the original version of this song so much, and again, I'm shocked that I've never released it on the Song Club because it is a really nice demo. It's real quirky and weird. I like quirky and weird music. When I'm not listening to myself, I usually listen to really avant-garde, different, weird kind of stuff. I don't listen to anything that's very mainstream at all. I find it boring. So I like how weird this one is. All right, let's check it out. It's called Everybody's Doing It. Oh, and I was wrong, because this is not the one I was thinking of.
One night at the green.
This sounds a lot like the actual song.
Guess somebody threw a punch. The next thing I knew, there were chairs flying everywhere. I went outside into the rain.
But different enough to make it cool.
Where I saw you standing there. Butterflies and tigers in your hair. Everybody's doing it. Oh, you know it's true, and if everybody's doing it, we can too.
Pretty nice, pretty sweet version, I have to say. All right, check it. Second verse.
Your cell phone, it kept ringing fucking off the hook. You had that necklace on your boyfriend. Gave you why you gave me that look. I took each word you told me and held each word up to my heart. And they cast little shadows on its walls. And everybody's doing it. Oh, you know it's true, and everybody's doing it, we can too.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. That was not the song I was thinking of, and I don't know what song it was that I was thinking of. There's a song that is real different, the demo from the version. Might be Bicycle versus Cars. That's some song that it's not coming to mind right now. And I apologize for that forever. For the rest of my life, I'm apologizing for that mistake. Again, I can't tell you how excited I am about my computer just sucking. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll find some pixels cropping in every once in a while. It's not you. It's not your computer. It's not your internet. It's me. It's me. It's me again. What else can I be? All apologies. Well, we're coming in under the hour mark, which I think is a good thing. I'm getting better at just getting so good. I'm getting better at being so good at this. Anyways, we'll go out with this next song. It's called Everything You Love, which is another song that was on, I think this was on A Perfect Day for sure. And the idea behind A Perfect Day was I was only going to do songs that would work if you were like on a boat on a sunny day, hanging out with your family and having a barbecue or something. And I only wanted songs that were pretty chill and fun. And then I put this song in the album. And this song, the chorus is, God will destroy everything you love if you live long enough, which, you know, it sounds nice, but when you tear it apart, you're like, oh shit, we're all going to die and everybody I know is going to die, which is, do you want to think about that when you're barbecuing brats on your boat? Probably not. I don't know. I do like the song, and I think it's about having kids. My son was probably about 5 or 6 when I wrote this song. And the one thing about having kids that really you understand more than anything is not your demise, because your demise, you've always had that in the back of your head since you were born. But when your kid's born or your kids are born, here's something that you love. Here's someone that you love more than your own life, which is so weird. And you realize that they're going to grow old and die. And it's such a crazy feeling. And believe me, I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. Oh, my computer just said that the stream was getting no data. Oh my God. I can't tell you how good that makes me feel. Not good at all. Anyways, it was interrupting this sort of macabre thought. Anyways, that's where this song comes from. You know, it comes from that, and it also comes from, I was on a plane with a lady who was 98 years old, and she was telling me about her deceased husband that she'd been married to for 35 years. And I was like, oh, that must be horrible. How did you know, how are you doing with that? And she's like, oh, well, he died 40 years ago. They were together for 35 years. Then he died, and she was alive 40 years later. So crazy. Living that long. And she was traveling alone. She was, you know, walking fine. But here's what she was. She was in a upbeat, good mood, and she felt good about the world. She didn't have a bad word to say about anything. And I'm like, that's the key to living long, is just have a good attitude. So I know for myself, I'll probably, who knows, I probably got a year or two left. I mean, I am in my late 30s. And when I say late 30s, I mean all the reindeer have mutated into sentient sort of humanoids, and they're rounding up people now and putting them in detention centers. All right, let's check this song out. It's called Everything You Love. We'll get out of here with that one. You guys have a great month. We'll see you next time on the Song Club. Again, you want these songs? They're easy to get. Patreon, patreon.com/Bob Schneider. Sign up today. Thanks. Have a wonderful time. We'll see you soon.
It was a beautiful